And we are live. Okay, well, hello again. So this is a little bit different. We're going to be, instead of me sitting here talking to you about your designs, we're just going to take a brief moment to talk about the last design we did. Now, the last design we did was the coffee bag, and so I just wanted to show you what that cutout looks like. So essentially, what you do is you just sort of trim around, the shape in general, and you would essentially just, take your coffee bag and you just would fold it in along those solid lines, and it would sort of collapse down on itself and come form this little container here. Now, in most cases, obviously, what you would want to do is you'd want to find yourself a nice craft paper. I just used regular printer paper here. I bought some cardstock, but the cardstock was actually kind of really hard to fold along these lines. This maybe it might be better if I did a real stiff box with it, but for this bag, maybe a little thicker vellum paper might have done well. But essentially, what we're looking at here is here's the logo with the Doot Dark Roast label on it, and then our little so this looks kind of nice. I like this. So over here we have our rig instructions. I probably would have used glue if I had any glue in the house, but I didn't have any glue in the house, so I just used tape and tape on the bottom as well. And then here's the brew instructions. It's kind of nice. Probably could have used another picture down here or something like that. Made some iconography would have made it look nice. On the back is About Whistling mug. And then over here, I think you would probably just leave room for, say, for instance, the UPC that would be on the store, or maybe store maybe other things for instance, nutritional facts how much caffeine's in it and how much sugar's in it and things like that, right? So, I think the 25 calories per serving was probably a misnomer, because I'm drinking coffee right now and I'm pretty sure this is there's no calories in this at all. I think it's just swamp water that just gets your heart beating fast. Anyways, so depending on how well it looks, I'm gonna look through some, and I'll make some more of these, and we'll show these off later on, and we'll see how these all kind of stack up, and then we'll do the same with some of our other designs here. So we're moving on to something a bit different. So we did our last one or the second thing we did last week was a state park logo, or in an ideal world it was a state park logo, and hopefully it was one that you could recognize here. So we're gonna do essentially just a bound, sort of a belly band for two sort of trail map books. So I've got these books right here that we're going to be working with, and so we're actually going to design our own little template here. So just real quick, do some quick measurements just to sort of see what we're going to be doing. So I'm just going to make a little measurement here. This is 3.5 right here across, 3.5. As far as the thickness goes, it is, let's look here. It looks like about 3/4 of an inch. Let's go between 1 and 2. What's it here? 1 and 2. It's about 1/2, about half an inch. Yeah, half an inch will be right. So we've got 3 inches across, and we've got half an inch thick in terms of this. So these are just little memo books that I got from a brand called Field Notes. Field Notes is just an excellent brand. So I really do. So if you're at all like me and you like just to jot things down just to remember them later, or if you like just to monitor and just write down your thoughts and stuff. I use these a lot whenever I grade things. I'll just write down just notes that I want to keep and stuff. So that's a good little brand. But this is sort of about the same size. Say for instance a sort of a field guide, or even this could be just a series just things we're selling and stuff like that. So we're selling some sort of notebook stuff to kind of go along with our field guide here. So 3 inches across, a half inch thick. So let's go over here, hit it, and we'll take it straight to Graphic Designer here. So I'm just going to hit Graphic Designer. And all right, so I'm just going to be looking straight here, and we're just going to follow along with me. So first thing we'll do is we're going to go to our Open from Graphic Cloud, and we're going to find our park logo here. And what we'll do is we'll just make sure that we have what we need for the park logo. So park logo. So in this case, I'm just going to get rid of all this stuff here. Okay, so with everything gone that we don't need inside of our document here, let's start building up this little guy here. So I think I want this to be about, so it's going to be about 3 inches wide, and let's see, this whole thing is about 7 inches tall. So somewhere in the neighborhood of say for instance 2 inches tall would probably be good. So 3 by 2, business card size. All right, so let's do business card size. So first thing I'm going to do is over here, I'm going to make sure everything's deselected. And I've got all this information over this way. So look over here. You've got like your color and your page size. It says like infinite canvas. You've got your bleed and margins and master and things like that. All this stuff is just not unlockable. In this case, let's go over here to our units and let's pick inches. Just so when we draw this square here, we can actually just change it to fit what we want it to fit in. So when I first draw this, I noticed that all of a sudden, oh, look at this, it's like 8 inches long. So let's just change this to 3 inches long here. And then we'll change the height to 2.5, 4 points or so, just so we can kind of see what's going on here. All right, so I'll just get closer to here, and so we'll make the other sides to this. We'll make the well. Let's go ahead and we'll just take this. We'll just take our rectangle tool. We'll just draw another rectangle next to it, and we just real quick get rid of this. Pull up the borders here. In this case. 6 or so? 4? There we go. And let's double check this is a 1/2 inch. So this is 2.5 inches high and 0.5 inches wide. Alright, there we go. That was handy. Now just drag this, Alt drag this over here, make sure it snaps in. Okay, so now for the back is going to be split in two. So we can kind of hook them onto each other. We're going to create a little clasp that's going to hook onto each other here. So let's just real quick put something on the back here. Let's like here. Well, we'll just do. So it's going to be 3 inches. So it's going to be 1.5. So let's make each side 2 inches here. And what we'll do is we'll actually just create like a little marker that'll show what we need to do here. So I'm going to get my rectangle tool. I'll just draw another little square here. And let's get our rectangle one more time. And we'll just draw this out and see if we can get it to be 2 inches wide. 2. And then I'll do the same thing to the other side. First off, I'll just make this once again white. And I'll put the border to be about 4 points. Okay. So, right. So I just noticed that, like, for instance, this right here, this little, like, symbol over here, let me just real quick drag me over slightly. Let me just go over to me. So this right here, where my face was, that's where the unit size was, right there. So it's down in the corner behind where I was. So that's what's going on with that. Okay, so let's put this back here. So in case you missed that. All right, so with that done, let's just real quick duplicate this, and we'll just Alt drag this to the side here. Nudge it over. That's good. So we just want to make sure that none of the lines are doubled up, that they all like are wholly on top of one another. I'm going to save this real fast. All right, cool. So I'll just real quick shrink this down. And I do want to do one quick thing. Let me actually I'm just going to put this whole thing on the screen without me being on there, so you don't need to see me. And what can we do? Can we do something over here? Can we, let's look. Can we zoom in some to let's actually put ME2 up here. ME1 up here, and see if we can. Can we switch out? No? Okay, that's fine. That's all good. No, I'll just stick camera 2 here. Okay, anyways. What I can do is I can get like my magnifier. So, right, looking here, I'm going to see if I can get my DPI to be up a little bit. I'll put like 300 pixels per inch here for now. And then we'll just have that just so it's like a bit bigger. All right, so with that done, let's just take this guy here. We'll just select this whole logo, and we'll shrink it down to fit in side. So in this case, it's going to be about 1.5 inches. So we want it to still be able to be red. So if it's like, and then we'll just Control Shift and up or shift down. All right, so that's there. Well, let's see here. Move out of the way. Just want to make sure this is double check that this is grouped so I can move this independently. Just modify, and we'll group this selection, and we'll just sort of pull this down, make this down here. make sure this is centered. Okay, and so what we'll do here is we'll create a little we'll create the little belly band here. So let me just real quick put some verbiage here. So let's just real quick add a little verbiage to it here. So we'll just do so since this is 2 books, let's just create a couple of things that are inside this. So George Elizabeth State Park, and we'll get our text tool here, and we'll just click a little text box. And I'm going to change this to something really clean and sort of sans serif here. So, hiking trail maps. And then we'll just sort of shrink this down a little bit here. Just pull this. We'll just go here, go to modify path, convert to path. Then we'll just sort of shrink this down a little bit and put it right here. And I wonder if I can make a new one over here. Here we go. Hiking trail maps and field notebook. So we could just sort of like create a little like notebook here. So we'll just create both of these, make both of these into a path here, just like both of these. Modify path. Go to path. Shrink it down a little bit. And maybe we'll add a little something else to it. Let's see here. Maybe we can shrink everything down. Let's shrink all this stuff down just a little bit more, just so I can add some more information to it. Okay, so at this point, my little logo here is about 1 inch tall. I got field notebook, which is about 1/10 of an inch tall. Same here, about 1/10 of an inch tall, 0.1 tall. And then let's add a little line here just to sort of separate things. Let's add some little text down here at the bottom as well. So let's just grab a little line tool. Let's sort of drag a little line across, like so. Let's get the borders to be a little thicker. Say for instance, like 4 points or so, maybe 3 points. Then I'm going to make sure this has got a rounded end, and also center this. And then we'll just maybe add like just little flavor text here. So we got a little text box kind of hanging out over here. And so in this case, these are 48 pages. So I'll say, 48 pages. Let me just real quick just select everything and make this tiny. I'm going to make this about like, say, 8 points or so. 48 pages of color coded maps. And we'll just sort of center these. And then we'll say over here, grid and dot ruled field notebook. So the idea is that you have a grid, and then you also have like a grid of dots. So that's great. So I'll just once again take these guys and just modify, transform, rather path, and then we'll convert to path, and we'll just sort of line these two guys up here, and then we'll just sort of modify group selection. And we'll just make sure this is centered to our square. Center that. That's good. All right, cool. So now, since these were two, we have two different images. Let me just real quick select these guys here. I'm going to shrink down their stroke a little bit to about maybe 2 points, or maybe even 1 point. In this case, we don't really need it to be that thick. All right, so over here, I'm going to create a grid. So I want to say it'll be pretty simple just to create a little grid by creating just a series of rectangles here. So let's get a series of rectangles. Get a rectangle here, and I'll just so get a rectangle tool and just draw a little rectangle like this, and just make sure it is. We'll do 0.1 inch wide, and then that way, and then we'll just take the fill off, make it white, and give it a border of 1. And then what we'll do is we'll see if we can move this to the side, because at this point we know we should have 5, so I should be able to control D this, yeah. All right, cool. 5. And then we'll draw another one that's going to be 0.5 inches wide. And just real quick, click on this one, and I'll just draw another rectangle. Hopefully it'll. Right here. Okay, we'll make this once again 0.1 inches tall. And Control Shift and up. And then it will actually make the stroke invisible here. So now we'll just Alt drag this down, and then Control D until we get to the very bottom here. Little series of grids here. So with that done, let's make a little dot grid over here. So let's see. I wonder if we can over here and just let's first off let's do this. Let's make a little square here. And I'm going to make the square 0.1 by 0.1, so let's just real quick. So make it 0.1 by 0.1 inches. And then let's take our circle tool, here our ellipse, and let's just get real close. And we'll draw a little ellipse that's sort of centered over this dot right there, this corner here. Let's just go turn it black. And we'll just get it real close onto this here. That's good. Okay, now I want to say I could probably just get rid of this guy. And now I've got this dot right there. And I'm going to, looks like here, 0.15. Let's make it 0.02, just to make it a little bit easier. 0.02, 0.02 in terms of its height. And let's go to Edit, and let's go to Duplicate. Let's go to Modify, and let's go to Transform, and, okay, never mind. How about Arrange a Line? Okay, I wonder if I could just sort of move it over. I see, here we go. Position, I'm going to add 0.5 to this right here. I'm going to go plus 0.1. There we go. And then once again, Control D, and then plus 0.1. Okay, and then Control D, plus 0.1. Oh, didn't quite. Here we go. Edit, duplicate, plus 0.1. Not 1 point. 0.1. Cool, awesome. That. All right, so with these guys here, I'll just click all these guys, and I'll just once I get, there's one hanging out here. Never mind. I see what's going on. That's the little blue circle there. Okay, so once again, I'm going to go modify, for edit, duplicate, and then I'm going to go over here to the Y, and I'm going to say plus 0.1. And then we'll do that same thing again. Control D, plus 0.1. Control D, try it one more time, plus 0.1. There we go. So let's again edit, duplicate, plus 0.1. There we go. How about this? We'll just select all this, shift select our box, and then Alt drag this down until this lands on top of that. And then we'll do the same thing again. We'll just shift select all this, deselect our box, and then we'll just Alt drag this down until it matches on top of, it's right here, okay? And then we'll actually do that one more time. We'll just Alt drag down, and then we'll just select these guys, and there we go. Now we got a little grid. So we got a grid on one side, and we got dots on the other side here. Cool, I like it. Okay, I'm not sure if I like this one right here. Okay, so now we've got this. Now we just want to make sure we have a little space to sort of slice and clasp. So we're going to create a kind of our little clasp on the back by getting our line tool here. And we'll just sort of right here in the center, drag this up about halfway through. Make sure it's got a stroke on it. That's good. And let's like here, let's make it, its height should be 1, because it's 2 inches tall. Okay. Make sure it's not at the bottom. What is this? This is 2.5. So this should be 1.25. All right, so 1.25 or you know, whatever you got. Oops, hello. That's good. And then we'll just alt drag this over here. We'll just center these. And line it up to the top. All right, cool, and we'll call that done. All right, and so we'll just export this, and as a JPEG here, just submit it to D2L. All right, so if you want at this point to change any of the colors, that's fine. You want to make, like, maybe, for instance, take this square here, maybe change this to like something a little complementary to your background, like say, for instance, like a kind of like a golden yellow or something like that in this case. Let's see if I can find something like a little more like a light golden yellow here, something like that. And we do the same thing on the back as well. We can just maybe change these guys to like that same color. So click on this and just, all right. It's up to you if you want to change it to something like that. That'd be fine. And then yeah, so you can just determine what you think would be the best color scheme that might go along with your notebook here. All right. So last thing I might do is just sort of pull this up some. I'll get lots of messages. All right. Very cool. Well, this is, we'll just call this done. We'll go ahead and export this as a JPEG. And yeah, well, can't wait to see you guys produce. See y'all in class. Or wherever. I keep saying that.